It's time for the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Here with a load of laughs, info, and fun, it's Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Before I go alone. Don't ask me this and one more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
All right, happy Saturday morning. Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, episode number 103. David B, we're moving along, man.
Producer Tony, it's 103.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're there. That's
103. My name is Tony B. You just heard him, David B. Timmy D is out today. He'll be back next week. David B has a great story this morning in the trucking shipping industry about customer service in the supply chain. I'll follow it up with, looks like trucking is becoming less volatile in 2023, and that might be a question mark behind there. The views of Ship's Gonna Happen are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider. We do it, David, why?
Transportainment.
Boom, baby, that's right, transportainment. Right here at the Ship's Gonna Happen, that's where you get it all. You can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and our home website. Probably easier to catch us on one of those platforms, though. Ship's Gonna Happen welcomes you to the show this morning, episode 103. David B, good morning.
Producer Tony, it's so good to see you. When I say this, I'm not just saying this, I genuinely mean this. There's not a better looking yard anywhere around than Producer Tony's yard. It's immaculate. He must have been out mowing early this morning because it looks like it was just freshly cut and the lines are all straight and looks good, and you don't even want to walk on the thing. It looks so good, Producer Tony. You do such a great job. This is Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to you, Producer Tony, and to all the moms that are listening out there. This week's show, along with all other shows, brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go after Ship's Gonna Happen week. Great place to go to hear some good music, chat it up with the locals, get a great meal, have far too many cocktails than what you should. It's the voice of experience, and it's just it's an awesome place to go. They've got Jen and her staff do an outstanding job at taking care of you, and we appreciate them being a continued sponsor of our podcast. Producer Tony, how are you this morning, my friend?
Brother, doing great. Great to see you again, as
Always
usual.
Always a pleasure, yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for a compliment on the yard.
Beautiful.
It's like I'm having to cut it every 2 days right now.
Yes, sir.
And I will say I saw a flock of birds hover the lawn, and they flew off to the neighbor's lawn, and I was like, thank you. That was
like,
a lot of respect.
We're not going to poop on this. We'll poop on the neighbor's yard.
No, but it's all good, man. How are you, brother?
Good. It's definitely been a Ship's Gonna Happen week. I mean, but every week's been a Ship's Gonna Happen week. So, I mean, it's the industry. It's what we're in. We almost had Jacinda Duran on the show this morning. She's in the neighborhood and was unable to stop by. I want to give a nice shout out. I don't think we did a good job of this last time. I want to get a nice shout out to Ben Trucking. If you guys go on YouTube, find his channel, Ben Trucking. He's done an outstanding job of, since he was on, of kind of putting a little link to our shows and his show, and he's just got some great videos. So if you would, give Ben a listen and give him a subscription and tell him that the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast sent you.
Boom. Yeah, that was a great show. Enjoyed that. And thanks for getting him on. Yeah, and that was episode 102.
Right.
Good stuff. And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned Mother's Day, because that's a very important day to remember those that loved us, and take care of your mom if you can out there for Mom's Day.
If your mothers are still living, make sure you give them a call and say hi, because without your moms, we wouldn't be here.
Here. Mom's important.
Yep.
Mom's important.
Very important.
But yeah, some little bit of news going on in the industry. Seems like it's the rates are kind of checking back. But David, you've got a good topic.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with Tim and I actually all kind of, when we're not doing the podcast, every now and again we'll all get together and kind of just to because since we're in the industry, we'll talk about how things are going. And this has been an ongoing complaint of mine for many, many years, is the customer service level in the industry. They're used, like Roadway back in the day had outstanding customer service. You know, anytime there was an issue, you knew who to call, and you knew that it was going to get taken care of right away. And this is before the advent of everybody having, computers and stuff. And
I'd say it's world class. It was world class.
Yeah, by far. And Holland did a good job. Yeah. Not so much anymore. And I'm not just saying this story because I want to come on here and bash companies. It's just kind of the way it is all in the industry. And
it kind of goes outside the industry too, right? I mean, you can't contact anybody.
Yeah, amen to that. And so this article comes to us this week from Fleet Management. The name of the article is Raising the Bar on Customer Service in the Supply Chain. And it says that trucking companies need to do a far better job than what they're doing of keeping their customers informed, whether it be via email, whether it be via text, or whether it be any sort of way to communicate with their customers. They need to do a lot better of a job. And this article goes on to say that there's a shortage in the industry of customer supply people. And I'm like, is there really? Or is it that just carriers or companies don't want to hire more customer service people? Because I personally think, my own opinion, if you're one of the big LTL carriers, I don't understand why you don't have 24-hour day service, customer service. There isn't one that does, or at least not that I know of. Mm-hmm. And I just
be automated after a certain time or something to call you back, right?
Yeah, or even somebody like Yellow used to have 24-hour customer service, not no more.
Oh, they stopped that. Yep. I didn't know that because they had a pretty good customer service group at one point.
It's like 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, and you're like, yeah, but I start working at 2 a.m, not at 7 a.m. I don't mean just for me, but it would be nice to have longer customer service hours and a lot better local representation. Like there are companies that are local that are coming around to having some better customer service. I know there's a carrier up north, LTL, that I do a little bit of business with, and I've become familiar with their office staff, and it's a lot easier now to get information out of that carrier. And your sales reps they're so busy with doing their other thing and having to be out to sell. They need that support system to help them, make sure that the customers get what they need in time. Absolutely. And it's just not, it hasn't been there. And to your point, Tony, also, it's not just the trucking industry, it's customer service in general is absolutely piss poor. And I know it's difficult to deal with people, and especially when you get barked at and you don't know what people's moods are going to be and, what else they've had to deal with during the day. And I understand that people could be pains in the ass, but there just needs to be, my opinion, far better customer service.
And I think you're right, man, because if you don't mind me asking something and adding something here, I tried to get a hold, I think someone hacked one of my accounts.
Really?
I don't do social media, but I'm just going to say it's LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So I think some guy I know or hooked to got hacked. And then I got like this message from this hacker. Yeah. And so I didn't do anything to it, but I was trying to contact LinkedIn.
Okay. No.
Good luck with that, dude.
Really?
No phone number. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I'm like, it's amazing a company could be that big and that wealthy, and virtually leave you with no way to contact them.
Yeah, that's exactly the way Uber is.
I mean, it's bad. You know what? Somebody else complained about that to me this week.
It's fucking terrible.
Uber Eats.
Yep.
I had a buddy complain about that. Mm-hmm. His food never showed up. Okay. Couldn't contact anybody. Ended up having to contact them through their Twitter feed.
Really?
And they responded through Twitter, but had no other way to contact them.
99+% of my Uber rides are outstanding.
Yeah.
I have had a few small percentages that have been bad. Excuse me. And their customer service is complete crap. How is it that you're that big of a company and you don't have 24-hour day, 7-day a week, 365 days a year customer service that is on call all of the time?
You would think that'd be your strong suit when you're dealing with face-to-face to people, right?
And it's all bot.
Yeah.
It's a bot chat bullshit stuff.
Maybe.
Sorry, we're getting going. I'm getting going.
I'm going to give David a squeegee or something to squeeze over here.
I mean, it's that bad. I think I told you this story. And if I've already told this story on the podcast, I apologize. I literally got left in the middle of downtown Indianapolis because the driver didn't want to drive to Lebanon.
Yeah, that's
He
crazy.
claimed he was sick.
Yeah.
I called BS on that being sick and left me. And I got another ride relatively quick, but for me to complain about that was all bot related, and they didn't give two poops. They didn't. There was no way to make it right.
I think I know from my side of the fence. I think Tim would probably attest to it, that we know it's an issue.
Yeah.
The customer service. So they've actually been focusing on that.
Okay.
So doing more training with the terminal, because carriers typically in the past have had pretty good customer service, and then I think COVID might have ruined some of it for the carrier side, and then now you got to get back into it. So I know we're focused on it right now, but I think in the grand scheme of things, though, it seems to me as more technologically advanced we get, the less there's a human to talk to, and it's just like these software companies that sell software. I mean, try to get a phone number. They'll communicate to you, and I've noticed this with these younger customer base. They're more they don't want an email, right? They just text, which is fine. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
But it's like no face to face. Some of them don't want that. It's just like, hey, could you text me? Here's my cell, right? It's like, well, typically we work on emails in this industry,
right.
But anyways, it's no big deal. It kind of lessens the email activity, but I'm just interested to see, because it's a great topic where customer service is important. And Amazon. Let's take Amazon for instance. I would say that Amazon, in my personal opinion, has a pretty good customer service. Even though you might have to fumble through some pages before you get someone to contact you, but they'll literally ask you, would you like someone to contact you? And so, and they have. And so I was impressed by that, being a high-tech company like that. But they're dealing with the selling of products directly to your door, so they kind of have to be. But I would say their customer service is pretty good in this day and age of where the trend is to go more automated to stuff. But overall, I think you're right, man. I mean, it's obvious. It is blatantly obvious.
It is terrible. One of the, going back to the customer service in our industry, even if there's an issue, just tell me there's an issue. Just say,
Right.
we're trending a few hours behind, or it's a day late or something. Just come right out and say what the issue is instead of leaving me hanging or whatever. I'd much rather have that instant customer service, preferably not bot related. I mean, I don't know how whatever, but it'd be nice to get that. It's just
Where you don't put in the right keyword and it sends you to another thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe the RFID technology might help with that, because that will be more instantaneous.
Right.
So I think that'll force the system to respond quicker to things and have answers quicker to things. So I hope it does, but it should. But I know the industry's talked about that a lot in the LTL sector.
So would you RFID the pro numbers? Is that what you would do, or where would
Just throw it on the skid.
Okay. I didn't know if it would be like if there was a way to embed it in the pro, like
There might be.
Wondering.
There
maybe?
might be a way to do that. Yeah. But I think right now it's just a little piece of tape, and it gives you instantaneous. You can track it, from your dock to the terminal to wherever it's going. There's no gaps. So I think that holds the industry more accountable to what we do, and makes service more of a priority. Because some of the talk in our side of the fence this day is now the customer can see everything. That wasn't the case when you and I first got in here. It was a lot of phone calls and a lot of believing in those phone calls, and sometimes they weren't true.
Yeah.
And it was just to get you off their back for the weekend, right?
That's how you got a rate quote, was via the telephone.
Yeah, right.
Picked up the telephone and got a rate quote.
Yeah, and their phones are beeping in the background. Yeah, that's good stuff. Those days were awesome.
Yeah. And that didn't happen. Again, it's back when you were dealing with good customer service, or better customer service, maybe is the way to say it.
Well, when I first got in this industry, you and I have talked about this before. When I first got in this industry out of Indianapolis, The carrier I worked for was Roadway. We had 12 reps out of the Indianapolis terminal.
I remember that.
We had a whole floor dedicated to customer service.
Yep.
A whole entire floor. It was about 14 or 15 of them.
I visited that terminal. I
Yeah.
remember. Mm-hmm.
It's just incredible what they did. They were awesome.
Right.
So now you look out of that, what's left in that organization. There's 2 coming out of Indy, and they have no local customer service, right? So some of it, I think, was economic downturn type stuff. Make companies cut back. Some companies never did stayed true to their customer base and kept the communication lines open. And some were forced to make cuts, right? So, but when you cut customer service, I think it's going to eventually hit your bottom line, because if you don't have anybody, unless your service is so stellar, right, that you get no phone calls. But
I don't think that carrier exists.
No,
Or
it
any,
doesn't. Right.
Not just the carrier industry, but any industry. I don't think that 100% that exists.
Right. I agree, man.
Just own up and make it right. Regardless of whatever it is, just provide faster, better customer service.
Yeah.
Tony and I talked pre-show about customer service I got last night at a bar, and it was complete crap from the moment we sat down and we're like, we were verbal. And I hate to be that. I don't like being that way, but we're like, you're the reason why we're leaving, dude.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and I had the opposite effect that you had, where it was like, I felt,
So we
the
went
service.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I felt like the service might have been better than the food.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
We went to 6 spots, and 4 of the 6 were outstanding. 2 of the 6, you're like, and one of the 2 was like terribly bad. But it is what it is. So,
well, and you're in that mood, looking to have and continue your good mood, and it's always a bummer when you get that happen. But a lot of that too, I think, is that I think these industries are just used to us going out and eating, right? And they don't. Some of them aren't going to put that focus on.
and dealing with people can be an extremely difficult thing to do.
Yeah, now they're kind of looking at, hey, how has he done eating yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can get him out of here.
Yeah, but so that's a great point. So like at St. Elmo, it's that way where they're trying to get you in and get you out. Not always like super pushy to get you out, but they're doing their best to flip that table.
Oh yeah, right.
But
you can feel it.
Well, at the Great Divide, when you reserve a table, it is for the evening,
right?
For the duration of the evening.
Until
they're
you
not going to try to flip. Yeah, yep. And if you don't, then it's your table the entire time.
You got
Not that I'm the voice of experience with that. I'm just saying.
You got that waiter at the high end just coming over constantly going, you guys need anything else?
Yep.
Do you need anything else? Do you need anything else?
Yeah. Me and Big Lefty were out a couple weeks ago, and we went into Square Cap Vinyl. And as soon as we went to Square Cap Vinyl, we ordered 2 beers, and they shoved us the bill. We're like, we're not ready for that. We're here for a smidge.
You're kidding me. Was it?
And it wasn't wrong. No, it wasn't. It was somebody that didn't know us or didn't know me, and it wasn't done like out of like just go. I think she was just assumed that we were going to just grab a beer and leave.
Okay,
and that wasn't what we were doing. I'm like, we're here for a bit. She's like, okay.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh yeah. I think not everybody is the same customer either. So
yeah, it's true.
But I just like to see it. I mean, that's been like I said earlier, that's been a big pet peeve of mine for a long time.
When's the last time you've seen a company, any company, anywhere, say, do business with us because our customer service is outstanding?
Never.
This doesn't happen anymore, right?
Yeah. No.
Oh man, that's a good topic, man.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, it's kind of random, but
it's
been
awesome
wanting to talk about it for a while.
It's a big topic, and people know it. That it's my wife and I talk about it all the time about the stuff that and then you got Facebook listening to you and popping up ads on your phone. You think they just provide you a solution, instead of trying to get you.
Boy, it does listen to you. I don't have that on my phone, but like I know that there's been times where I've been like you and I will have a conversation, and if I mention like a you know what? I might go buy me a new GMC pickup truck. I promise you, by the time I get home today, there'll be something on my phone about a GMC pickup truck.
But nothing would ever pop up if you said my throat kind of hurts.
Right.
My throat kind of hurts today. Your phone's blank. There's nothing there. They don't care about that. They're trying to.
Never in my day have I ever. I've never partaken in any marijuana or done anything, but I get all of these ads on my laptop for like gummies and a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, "Where the fuck did this come from? I've never even once searched it or whatever."
Are they even legal here?
Oh, I don't know. It said a mail for. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah, it's like it would be weird that you get that, but
Yeah, you would. Yeah,
it's probably for something you're watching on YouTube or something, or someone probably got an ad there and got your algorithm somehow. And
I never thought of that.
Something
it
like
just
that.
seems like it's weird. And one of them was like for a mood setting gummy or something, and I'm like, well, they must know me pretty well then, because my mood can sour quick.
Unless Tracy's getting your phone late at night
She can
and going, you know what? I'd like to get me some gummies. I'm going to use Dave's phone.
When we went to Denver, she wanted to, and I didn't. I'm like, nah. And we went into one of those stores. That's just not me, and she's like not begging, but she wanted to partake, and I'm like, nah. So, but teach their own. I mean, whatever anybody does, I don't care. So,
but yeah, so customer service
it just needs to improve all the way around.
Yeah, no doubt.
But then also too, if you get good customer service, don't hesitate to reach out and be thankful, and and say thanks for good customer service. 'Cause I do that too. As much, I try not to complain. I always try to compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But man, there's some times, especially with Uber, that just pisses me off.
Yeah, because that's a face-to-face. Your customer service is really getting in the car and speaking to that driver, and that driver taking you somewhere. And if that doesn't work, you really need somewhere to go to.
Yep.
But good stuff, man. All right, I got the trucking could maybe become less volatile. This article's from Rachel Permack. It was written Thursday, May 11th, 2023. This is from FreightWaves. Shippers say they'd rather spend purposely more than spot rate to lock in better service. So, the trucking industry, I'll read some of this. The trucking industry is known for its volatility. In the first quarter of 2023 alone, nearly 9,000 trucking authorities shuttered. So they're saying about 9,000 trucking companies, probably smaller type companies, have shredded the independence that we were talking about before. However, shippers, the parties that use the service, such as retailers and manufacturers, seem increasingly fed up with the chaos, while most are slashing how they are willing to spend on trucking service in their annual contracts. Some are cutting as deep as they could, as executives from 4 companies told FreightWaves. Instead, these shippers are looking to double down on better service, like raising one-time full requirements. Getting too focused on price could result in shipper being unable to actually get their product when it needs to go, which is, ultimately the point of hiring a trucking company. So just talking about spot rates maybe have come back into check. It looks like some larger truckers are doing, some larger companies in the retail sector are doing some things outside the box. The RFP season, now they're saying, request for pricing, for those of you that don't know that term, season is now never ending. So there used to be seasons of it. It seemed like they would happen in the fourth quarter for the next year. Now the industry is seeing those things run through the year and turning in really into like mini bids. For example, mid-2022, when spot rates collapsed, the executives at large CPG firms said the company's outside carriers decreased their rates. Ongoing dialogue of this reason that we haven't seen full breakdown of contract rates. Some carriers are proactively offered rate cuts during the initial spot market breakdown. So it looks like they were going to people like you and saying, hey, maybe they see some things and just making a deal there instead of waiting for a bid or something like that to come out. So the article just goes on, and I'll wrap it up here. Ultimately, the problem for many shippers as they just don't have enough volume to offer carriers right now amid consumer cutback in durable goods spending. Her pitch of Nolan Express Group pointed to Fortune 500 client that has 1,300 fewer shipments a week than it had this time last year. That's not only the reason why manufacturers and retailers and others are often looking to slash transportation spending given elevated freight costs through much of the pandemic. Some shippers are taking the chance to get rid of some relief on their transportation budget. One supply chain executive in the home building vertical told FreightWaves that he's seen truckload rates on one major lane that he has fall from 5,000 to 6,000 2 years ago to 1,500 to 2,500 today. It's almost a race to the bottom in some ways, this gentleman said. They're just trying to fill their trucks with business right now. And that's pretty much it for that article. Pretty good article. Thanks to Rachel Permack from FreightWaves for writing that. You can get them at freightwaves.com.
It is a good article. I'm seeing that on my end big time.
You are? That's going to ask you about that, yeah.
We had there's an LTL carrier that yesterday they're trying to do business with us, and they want us to do business with them, and they put in ridiculously low prices.
Wow.
Ridiculously low. Oh, it is so. And that I don't know. Part of that annoys me when you're just submitting pricing that is just, it's way too low. I mean, ridiculously low. I just don't understand how they're trying to win the business, though, and I'm not wanting to budge there, but they're trying to win the business and trying to force me to kind of force my hand with them, and I just can't. It infuriates me. Truckloads to California have dropped big time. We're spending like $3,200 now, where it was, which is what pre-pandemic numbers were, which is, and we've talked about this in the past, which is kind of where we're getting to is pre-pandemic numbers, and it definitely makes it look good, but that LTL rate, those rates just, man.
Yeah, and then not to be personal or too into it, but it may not be your favorite to deal with too, right? So it's like that's why it's complicated for you.
Absolute least.
I mean, some people can give you a price.
If you polish a turd, it's still a turd.
Right, exactly. Well said. So that's the tough part about it, but man, it's awful tempting when rates are that low. But some of these,
well, when all levels of management are involved, that's the issue,
right?
Where they're kind of like, here, I'm like, no.
Are you kind of like, well, do you know their reputation?
They don't give a shit.
They don't care.
Sorry, excuse my language again.
They just want that rate.
This show's going to be beep beep
beep beep beep. iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
Violation.
Well, they want that business from. They want that business is what they want.
Yeah.
They are the company I work for.
Right. So it's a double dip payback. Yeah.
And I've never been a fan of that. Never. I just don't. It makes no sense. And it
kind of ties your hand in a way.
It absolutely. I fumed about it all day yesterday. It just infuriates me when stuff like that happens.
Would it be corporate? Would you move to a corporate account, or would it still be like a local representation?
They claim local representation, but I'm not so sure. I need to. So I can tell that somebody behind my back is saying something, because in the pricing that was put in, it said I wish I had it right. Maybe I can bring it up on my phone. It said a commitment, and I'm like, commitment? Who the hell said anything about a commitment? I'm like, and a 250 shipment a month commitment, and I'm like, what?
Where'd they get that from?
See, again, like I said, I think somebody's talking to them behind my back,
Gotcha.
Which absolutely infuriates me. So, if you got a second here,
take your time, man. No, it's good stuff. So
it just bothers me, just absolutely, and that's not good business practice.
No,
in my opinion, that's a terrible way to do business. And it just
They're gonna,
you put all your eggs in one basket, and you're just asking for.
and that's
issues.
a shaky basket.
It's the least steady basket that there is.
Weak handle on it, and maybe a couple holes in it.
Yeah, for those of you that can't figure out, they have big yellow trucks. Their cabs and their trucks. That should tell you something right there. Why am I not? Here it is.
They own a large bridge too.
Yep, connects two countries together. Just in case you. All right, so. I'm looking for the link. Now, here it is.
You are listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen,
Yes.
Podcast 103.
Yes, right now we are looking for pricing.
David B.
Give me a second. My phone is.
No, I'm
slow
waiting.
this morning.
You know
Sorry,
what?
man.
I got the perfect waiting music.
I
There you go. As we wait for David B.
So the exact wording is monthly shipment commitment.
Bam! Holding you to the fire.
That is, those 3 words right there just infuriated me.
David, we only got 237. Damn it!
You'll get 0. Is what if I have my way about this, you're going to get 0.
David, we're supposed to get 250, and we've got only 1 this month.
Right. Yes. That's 1 too many.
It's because your damn basket's got holes in it. Yeah. You guys, when you collect Easter eggs, there's 100 out there, and you only come back with 1.
So I guess maybe reading isn't one of my strong suits. So the very line in front of it, or right above it, is pricing assumptions. So you better assume, because you should assume you're not going to get 250 shipments, because it ain't happening if I get my way.
Yeah, we're assuming. Yeah, oh my God.
This is one of those things where I kind of hope karma's on my side, kind of where karma steps in and proves, like, it's still a turd.
Their truck pulls in for the first pickup and tips over on its own.
And
then you're
but
like,
after the pickup's made, not before the pickup's made.
See?
After. Told you.
David, you're right. You were right.
But yeah, so pricing's definitely coming down, and those are on the spot rate too stuff. It's stabilizing. These are good rates to see, and I think it's like Jacinda and I have talked on. She'll go live on our Instagram, and she'll talk about knowing your worth and not taking cheap freight and stuff like that. And I understand where that's coming from. But also, in reality, rates could not have stayed where they were. They just cannot have kept going like that. I mean, if you're concerned about inflation and the way things are going as far as the economy is concerned, you can't have shipping rates being what they are.
I mean, you know what? That's a good scenario. I wonder if you were to take out the math on the inflation rate on shipping rates during that time.
Right.
I wonder what would you think that number would have to be, like 40, 50%, right?
I would say. Mm-hmm.
I mean, gosh.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, because you were paying double on some truckload lanes, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. And now it's back down again. I'm seeing pre-pandemic numbers, and those are good numbers. So those are fair numbers, especially when you're trying to gain business and grow. Those are fair numbers to see.
Well, especially for someone like Jacinda, an independent trucker, right? I mean, that's she probably was able to make pretty good money during the pandemic, and now kind of having to, because these corporate truckloads can slash rates quicker than she could. They have the ability to do that if they need to, whereas she doesn't really have that ability to do that.
Well, when she was here, we went to lunch, and I asked her, and I already know what the answer is, because Jacinda's a free spirit type person, and I'm like, why don't you go work for Walmart? You make $140 a year.
Regional.
Bump dock. That's it. Bump a dock.
What'd she say?
That's not her. I mean, she's that free spirit, and I get it. I completely understand. But if you want to lock into some stable income,
Holy cow, dude, I know.
With hindsight being 2020.
My dentist, hygienist, husband works for Walmart in their warehouse. He's a warehouse manager.
Okay.
They pay him really well.
Oh, I bet they do.
I mean, he gets paid pretty. He's at a Greenfield.
But he's six figures.
Yeah, it's six figures. She always says we tell people, that we meet, they ask, where do you work? And he always says Walmart. And they get kind of a funny look like, well, what do you do at Walmart? Right. And it's like,
are you the greeter?
Yeah, somewhere. And then once they find out that, a lot of people don't know what all Walmart does, right? Like, some of those grocery warehouse companies, Kroger, Aldi, Walmart, I'm sure Meijer, in their warehouses, those people are getting paid pretty good money because it's a high demanding job. I know that Aldi, when I worked at Aldi Foods, the Greenwood location where they had their warehouse, well, those people made really good money. The goal was always to get from store manager to the warehouse. That was always the goal.
Really?
And I never would have thought that.
So are you saying that the store manager's job at Aldi is basically just somebody that takes the lumps on the day-to-day operations of the store?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to say that
absolutely
in a polite way.
Absolutely. And your ultimate goal is to get to the warehouse because you'll be assigned a section. And it's just easier. You come in, do that. You don't have to fill in for anybody like you would at the store. Because at the store, and I don't want to get off on that.
Nope, we're fine.
But if someone didn't show up, I mean, I had to play cash register and fight the carpal tunnel syndrome.
Right.
Put the brace on. And I had to scan like X
back
amount of items.
But back then, was that manual or was it?
It was manual. I had to know every
the price of everything.
Everything. Like
so you were
oh yeah, I was all over it, dude.
No
I was one of the best at it. Yeah, loved it. I'd give them their lunch breaks and fill in for them.
I would be scared.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool, but you had some women there though that were just lightning quick. There was one gal that I worked with who just had this technique of where she would scoot it across like this, and it would just perfectly scan. Beep, beep. And her beeps were like, beep, 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 beep. Mine were more like, beep, 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 beep. Hers a beep, 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 beep.
Bloop.
Yeah. And then it was like,
Bloop.
But yeah, so that was, so to get to that warehouse was always, because there were older store managers that were kind of my mentors. And that was always, and one of them got to the warehouse. His name was Jeff. He was so happy. He's like, dude, I made it. It's like they won the lotto. And because a store manager at a grocery store, I mean, people are like, yeah, he's probably sitting in back with his feet kicked up. That ain't happening, man. That's not how that industry grooves and moves. It does not work that way. I mean, the store manager is probably stocking stuff or order. I mean, it's a busy job.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. It was fast paced.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
It's
I
all
was
good.
say going back to your dentist when her husband says that she works at Walmart. All I do is somebody I just say I work in a warehouse. I have no problem with I'm not saying I'm dumbing down my job, but I'm just like, I just work in a warehouse. No big
Well,
deal.
yeah.
Because to me it isn't that big of a deal. It's just a warehouse job.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
I mean, it's lasted 35 years. I need another 15-ish or so.
To get to the end, man.
Or to want to start living. Is that fair to say? I don't know if that's...
Start.
No, seriously.
That's true.
No,
Yeah.
I
It's
mean
a better
that.
way to look at it.
I mean, that's the way I look at Big Lefty. I mean, hats off to him. 55 years old and can retire and be comfortable. And I actually think... When I run into John nowadays, it's just like he's happy with being retired.
Yeah.
Doesn't even, when I ask him, do you miss working? He can't say no fast enough. No.
Well, I think for him too, he stays busy.
Right. He golfs a lot.
Stays active. So I think you have to make sure you just go do the things you want to do and stay busy with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to get him back on the show sometime.
Yeah, we'll work on that. We've got a few.
How long's his hair now?
Not.
Did he cut it? Okay.
Yep. Our next few weeks are kind of booked up a little bit with people, but maybe by the middle to the end of June, I can probably get him in.
We got a professor coming on, don't we?
We do.
Yeah. That's going to be a good show.
First off, I need to apologize for that. Not only is he a professor at Duke University, he is also a doctor.
Oh,
I'm not
really?
sure
He's a
what he's a doctor of.
Wow.
but he is a doctor.
Yeah, so we're going to have him on the show because he's
the
involved
Saturday
in
in
logistics.
Yeah, it's a good read. Jimmy Lentz, I believe is his name. He's a professor at Duke University. He used to be at South Carolina. He's a really good, very interesting to talk to, and he deals a lot with crypto, which I am completely dumb on. I have no knowledge of any of that. So hopefully he can fill us in. But that's going to be in a couple of weeks. I think the first Saturday of June is when we'll have him on. So
can't wait for that. That'll be interesting. Have our first person from the intellectual teaching side of the spectrum.
Yeah, and you can tell. I mean, as soon as I started talking to him, I met this gentleman in Louisville at the Mid-America Truck Show. Right away, you're like, dude, what are you doing here? You know, kind of like, I think you're at the wrong show.
Which one of these doesn't look like the others?
Yeah, he has big lefty hair, though. He's got long.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
What was his name again? Look him up real quick.
I think it's Jimmy Lentz, L-E-N-Z. I don't remember if it's L-E-N-Z or L-E.
It popped up.
Is
Duke.
that it?
It popped up.
All right.
L-E-N-Z, Duke University.
Yep.
Jimmy is the director of the Master of Engineering of Fine Tech and the Master of Engineering in Cybersecurity.
My brain just started oozing out my ears.
Yeah, this dude is legit. Yeah, I see his hair there. He does have the bracket hair going on. This is exciting. This is cool. I'm looking forward. Yeah, School of Engineering. Yeah, he's got
Nothing but the finest for you, Tony.
Yeah,
Producer Tony.
for us. No, that's cool. Wow, he's actually got a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Did you know?
I haven't looked at it. No, I haven't done my homework yet. I need to. Him and
to a phenomenal edition of Rebellion's educational series. I'm here with one of the most brilliant minds in blockchain and crypto, Professor Jimmy Lentz of Duke. One of the most revered minds I've come across the last few years. He's got a doctorate from WashU, was the chief risk officer of Wells Fargo.
Wow.
And the students I've spoken to absolutely adore his classes. So, Professor
David, that's a good one.
this will be the last time he comes on our show. He's going to listen to us and be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, no, I think
Bunch
it's
of
good.
morons.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so
Can't wait for
I
that.
hope we can build a rapport. I'm always, anytime we have a guest, I always want to build a rapport with that guest and want them to come back. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but I hope with this guy.
A lot of them have come back, yeah.
Oh, yeah, quite a few.
I think you've done a good job with getting good guest on, man. This is a huge one. This is this video was put out about 4 months ago.
So I thought it was supposed to be today, but my reading skills aren't very good, and it's actually where he wants to come on next weekend, but we can't record next weekend. So I might have to push him to June the 6th or whatever that first Saturday in June is.
June the 6th, yeah. That's good stuff, man. Wow.
So I do have a random thought, not
Yeah,
to
let's
push,
get into
not
it.
to rush
No,
through
no,
random,
that
random
sounds
thoughts
good.
or whatever,
Let's see here. Let me get the...
or more than one random thought.
Here's David. Hey, David B. With always some good random thoughts.
So we are
man.
listening to the Ships Gonna Happen podcast. So 65 has opened up through downtown now, and they did a mostly a good job coming through there. I don't understand. I still don't. There's still sections of 65 that aren't 3 across, and right there when you're coming. So yesterday in the Uber we went south on 65, and it was still pretty congested in the afternoon. This was mid-afternoon, and there was a section of it that was just down to 2 lanes. I'm like, why the hell did you build this damn thing and then not be 3 all the way across?
I know.
But it just irritates the snot out of me. So I know it's a lame-ass random thought.
No,
but
it's awesome.
It was good to see that things were open. And coming through this morning,
Glad you brought that up.
I didn't get on 65, but the way to go, either go 65 south or to go 70 to eastbound. All of that it's well done. It looks good. It's a smooth flow. The test will be like what does it look like during a rush hour and stuff because that was really bogged down. Like at 3 o'clock on a Friday, you can
What's
effing
it look
forget
like?
it.
I used to work with a guy in trucking, an old guy, Danny Ray. Timmy knows him. I'd go, Danny, I need a trailer down here in hole number 77, door number 6. What's it look like? That's what he'd always say. What's it look like? Anything he had to say. What's it? When you said that, reminded me of that. But no, so Ann yesterday, so we're meeting Shelby for her birthday.
Where did you go up? Are you?
It's up
were
on
you up at-
Castleton.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Zoo. So, yeah, your expression exactly. So, but so now that 70's done, they're they're letting them back on there. Dude.
But isn't that all a mess up there?
It's still, oh, yeah. They extended it. Yeah, it's extended now all the way to Keystone Avenue. Like and
That's always a mess up there. They can't get that right either.
that's funny you said that because I told Ann, ever since we've lived here, they've been working on that.
Yep.
At some section or some Fort Bend all the way up through there that they've been working through that.
Well, it seems like the downtown stuff, it seems like they just redid all that stuff
I know.
a decade and a half ago
Yeah,
or so.
right.
And here you are ripping it up and doing it again.
They need to get Roman concrete or something, dude. Because I mean, how do those survive?
Get the
like
people that
400
built the pyramids. Seriously, get the people that built the pyramids over here and be
That's
like,
what we need. Build our roads, man.
dumbasses.
Yeah.
This is how you do it.
You can fix them
And all they
6
used,
months.
all they used was the stars and stuff to
Right.
align their stuff. They're like, yeah, we got it.
So much smarter. Gosh.
We're a bunch of dumbasses.
But so Ann is, she needs to get home, and because we're gonna coordinate this and go. So then, so here's what they've done. This is the second time Indianapolis has done this, and it's just weird. So if you want to go, if you're coming on 465 south through Beech Grove, and you want to go north on 65 to get to the city, or go south on 65, you have to now to just let me ask you this: if you were to go north, you would just think you'd go first right, south would be second, right? It's the opposite. Yeah, downtown. They did the same thing. They flipped it. So for all the years Ann's worked downtown, she just got off on the right-hand side. All of a sudden, she's going 70 west to Terre Haute. She's like, oh, shit. Turns around, right? She's like, what the hell did I do wrong? She's like, the map was telling me to go that way, but I just didn't believe it. And it's like, yeah, because it's not.
Yes.
So I was thinking in your brain, right? Because if you've been to California for a long period of time, you'll realize some weird things happen in California, and it's a congested city in LA, and so they have to do these weird things. You'll have overpasses coming. You'll have like an on-ramp to the interstate coming over top of you to the left, right? To the right. You'll have these things happening, and they're kind of gapped out, and you're like, you don't know. So it used to be like left-hand lanes, like the safest, fastest lane, and you're least likely to get in an accident.
Yeah.
Well, not so much anymore with the stuff coming from the left, merging onto the interstate. But I don't know. I need to look up and see who Indianapolis had designed the interstate system, because the old governor had an Australian company do it, and there was a big debate on that thing. So it looks like they're just going with that. But it's just confusing to your brain, man, to be like, wait a minute. For 25 years, I've gone right,
Yeah.
And right would be the right way to go.
Yes.
But now you're telling me right is left and left is right. Yeah, and you just wonder, like, what the hell is that? Who decided that?
Right.
Was it because it wasn't that you couldn't do the right to right, because you flipped them. So you had the opportunity to keep north right, south left, but you just decided to make it the opposite. So you wonder why those decisions, did they save $20 on concrete? I mean, it's just bizarre. I don't like not extending the north, I don't know, man. It's just.
But how much longer is that northeast section going to be all jacked? They have to get that right this time.
It's jacked up all the way to Mount Comfort Road still. I mean, it's and they're putting in all these roundabouts throughout the state. Indiana's becoming like London.
I heard somebody say the other day that within the next month or so that exit 130, the 334 exit there at Zionsville, it's going to be shut down, and they're going to be putting a roundabout in somewhere just off the interstate. And you're like, how is that going to smooth out traffic? It's already a mess down through there.
David, I was in Carmel the other day. I went through 3 roundabouts in a row.
Oh yeah,
I've never done that before. It was like
Roundabout capital of the world.
Yeah, it is per capita. Yeah, per population, the most roundabouts in the world.
Wow,
that's crazy.
that is.
And then you get these like delivery trucks.
Yep.
And they can't. Yeah, it's like. So what are they supposed to do?
Right.
Create hovercrafts?
Yeah.
And pick their truck up and fly over.
Right.
I mean, and you see, so in that area, I was looking down on the ground, and you see the truck tire marks on the curbs because they can't. And no, in Carmel, they'll probably put in flowers next, and they'll report you for damage, destruction of property.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you'd have to pay for that at some exorbitant amount.
Yeah, $150 fine on site, paid in cash.
Right. That's crazy. But yeah, it's good to see that 65 is finally opened up and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, some of it's good stuff. I mean,
so to your point though, like coming through this morning, it was right to take 70 east, and it was left.
Was the same thing?
65 south.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm like, what the F?
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Who thought of that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like some foreigners like, hey, I think this would be better.
Stupid Americans.
Yes. And the American guy's just like, what was it? We saved how much? Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah,
there we go.
That'll work.
That'll work. It doesn't matter. I don't go that way anyway. I got a helicopter.
Right.
But no, that's funny you bring that up. But here's the thing I did notice. I did notice this week because I was out a lot. There's less traffic on 465 now.
I noticed.
Yeah, a lot less.
But it's kind of one of the things I didn't want to comment on. I'm like, boy, there seems like there's less traffic, and then sure as shit when I leave here, it'll be like, poof,
Yeah, unless 20,000 people died that we don't know about. It looks like, and you would spring more traffic on the interstates generally. So it looks like some of that construction has ultimately paid off. And I wasn't born in the state. You were raised here. I personally think, you have a different opinion, but I personally think Indiana does a pretty good job with its roads for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, again, my number one complaint is why 65 isn't 3 lanes minimum.
It should be.
All the way from Chicago to Louisville.
I would agree with you.
All the way through the state.
It has to be.
All the way.
Because that's a lot of that's a main artery of communication, traffic, goods.
You could probably say the same thing for 70 from like Dayton, Ohio to
Cincinnati,
Evansville.
Oh, to Evansville. Yeah,
just
right.
Thinking.
Yeah.
I just don't. It just doesn't make sense why it's only 2 lanes.
I
In this
know.
direction. But I mean, especially with all the growth that's like you said, living in the state of Indiana my entire life and seeing how much things have grown, it just you would think that a smoother, easier way to get places like widening or adding another lane would just be the right way to go.
I would just like to know, and I'm still going to reach out to those people. Like, what do they have planned in the future?
Yes.
Because
how far in advance are you looking?
Yeah.
Because
that one you read, they do a lot of like kind of forecasting a little bit.
I have a buddy that's an engineer for that. I can bring him on.
We should do that.
He's
the one that got you that information, right?
Yeah, he's super sensitive about his
That's fine.
About being
we'll disguise his voice. we'll hit him with this voice disguiser.
We'll get that though. What the fuck? Voice,
Yeah.
whatever.
You do that well, David. Hang on, man.
No, the recording you have is better than.
I don't know. Oh man, that's good stuff. Man, that's a fun show today. Dude.
Yeah, they all are. We did I did a very lame. What's the name of the actor that narrates really well? Was in the. Darn it.
Morgan Freeman?
There we go. I was doing a very lame Morgan and Freeman impersonation when Tim and I were out for lunch the other day. We were driving through downtown, and there was a guy that was on the corner with just a case of like a 12-pack of Budweiser, and he looked like he's just standing there looking like he was needing to get out on the ice as quick as he could, and I'm like, there's the gentleman standing on the corner. Little does Andy Dufresne know that he needs some ice to go with that beer.
Yeah.
And that the sisters are going to whoop his ass if he doesn't get that beer on the ice quick. So, yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, that's it for me. Good show today.
Hey, brother. No,
I
thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you do the same, man. Thanks for listening to Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Follow us on any subscription-based or non-subscription, whatever.
Yeah.
Follow us on social media. Give us a like, subscribe, share, everything, and we appreciate everybody for listening.
Yeah, hit that like and subscribe because it builds the algorithm, right?
Yes. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy
to all you mothers out there.
We are out.